Best purchases of 2025. Welcome to our living room where we get to talk about life, love, money, bags, and food. These are the best purchases that I made for 2025, and these are all mostly materialistic things. I think and I hope that we can agree that experiences are amazing. Traveling is amazing. I think that will always be great places, at least for me, of how to spend money. And I think most people would probably agree with that. So I'm not really going to include that in terms of this list. I think it's just kind of fun sometimes to talk about the more materialistic things, just for a little bit of fun and entertainment. So for the best purchases of 2025, I have them in 5 categories. We have health, we have home and kitchen, beauty and self-care, clothes, and then electronics and other. Okay, let's get into it. So for health, the first thing that I have on the list is my ultra human ring that I have on. I was unsure as to whether I wanted to get the Aura ring or the ultra human ring, or if it was going to be helpful for me at all. I decided on getting the ultra human ring for a few different reasons. First, it does not have a monthly subscription, which I like because I do not really like having anything that has a monthly commitment to it. And then I also liked the shape of the ring a bit better too. It's like a true circle, whereas the Ultra Human ring actually has like a kind of a flat edge to it. I wasn't sure if I was really going to enjoy using the Ultra Human ring because I was like, well, what's it really going to help me? Tell me how many hours I'm getting. Is it actually going to change anything about my life? But I do think it really has made a difference in terms of my health. So when I started using the Ultra Human ring, it really had me see how some of the things that I chose to do in my life impacted my sleep. So for example, like if I had a late meal right before bed, my ring would be able to detect it and it would tell me that my sleep was worse. And it would even say, "Did you have a late night meal?" I think seeing that like maybe see, wow, like lifestyle can really change your sleep. I also saw how having caffeine in the afternoon could affect my sleep too. And I saw how alcohol in the afternoon to evening could affect my sleep as well. So when I saw how those things changed my sleep, I really have intentionally tried to change my lifestyle to eat as early of a dinner as I can. Sometimes I just can't because I can work late and I get home really late at 8 to 9 p.m. most days. And then I end up having a late meal. But for the most part, it ends up being okay. I try to not do any caffeine after like 12 o'clock. And then I also try to just not have alcohol at all. But if I'm going to have alcohol, ideally before like 6 to 7 p.m. if possible. So like early. I really do think that the ring has helped me in those lifestyle choices. And then the other thing that's really cool about the ring is that it's not just about sleep. Like it actually looks at other measurements too. I didn't know that it also looks at your resting heart rate, your HRV, your VO2 max. Like I didn't know what these things were, and I still don't fully know them, but I know that they're health markers. And what I have seen from health podcasts is that resting heart rate is one of the biggest determinants of the longevity of your life. And VO2 max is also extremely important in terms of determining your health. And then HRV is important as well. And I have like terrible HRV. I have like poor quality HRV. When I saw how badly my HRV was, I was like, man, I really need to amp up my exercise. So ever since getting my Ultra Human ring, I exercise every single day that I have off. I used to only exercise like twice a week. And then like if I hadn't some time off besides that, I would just like not exercise. And now every single day that I have off, I exercise. So it ends up being on average that I exercise like 3 times a week. And then because I want my HRV to be better, my resting heart rate to be better, I'm trying to push myself more in terms of getting better workouts. And overall, I still have a terrible HRV, but I did not realize how much I would learn about health and wellness in my body had it not been for the Ultra Human ring. So overall, I would say it's a really great purchase. I don't like to look at my stats every single day because sometimes I know that my numbers are not going to be good. I also feel like Ultra Human, their customer service is pretty good after you kind of know how it works. They do kind of have a process of what they need to go through in order to actually address your concerns. And so it can feel a little slow sometimes, but overall, I think they address things well and professionally and mostly timely. And my ring has broken a few times, meaning it just stopped working a few times, but they've always replaced it because it was within a certain time frame of when I purchased it. And now this ring has been working for quite a while now. And so hopefully this is a good ring and that it won't break. But yeah, that's my first purchase of the health category. And I think it's been really helpful for my health. The second purchase for health would be ClassPass. So kind of tying in to wanting to improve my health, I decided to get ClassPass to be able to take workout classes. I used to be like anti-workout class because I felt like I'm just paying somebody to tell me to do exercises that I could do on my own. Like I don't need someone to tell me to do these exercises. But I started to see that when I did my exercises on my own, I just wasn't working that hard. I wasn't pushing myself. I felt like I was just doing like a lazy workout. And so I like to try to do a workout class on average like once a week in order to be able to mix up my routine and push myself a little harder. So for ClassPass, I have the one that I believe it's 26 credits a month, and $55 a month. Yeah, so I have 26 credit plan that is at $55 per month. I would say that with this credit plan, I typically am able to get maybe like 2 to 3 classes per month. And then in December for this cycle, for 1 month, I got 3 classes in, and I still have 10 credits remaining actually. So I think that's pretty good because then I can usually get like 3, maybe even looks like I could even get one more, like 3 to 4 workout classes in a month. I feel like with the way like my life works in terms of like work schedule and for when I take vacations, I end up having enough credits overall to be able to take on average 1 class a week. Maybe it'll be spaced out to 2 weeks occasionally because they do allow like rollover of credits. And so that also helps with that too. And in the beginning of when I first started taking classes, I was so sore, so tired, so worn out. And now these classes, like, yes, I'm still tired, but I am not as tired as when I first started. So I definitely feel like my body has gotten a lot stronger from doing workout classes. I tend to like to try to take HIIT classes or HIIT style type classes because they're really challenging for me and I want to be challenged. I like to go to base camp. That's one of my favorite places to take classes at because I think it has a really good mix of like cardio and strength training and being surrounded by the type of people and community that I want to be surrounded by. All right, so the next category is home and kitchen. So for home and kitchen, one of the best purchases that I made was the meter thermometer. So this is a thermometer that will check the temperature of the meat that you are cooking and tell you in real time what that temperature is. And it connects to your phone through like your Wi-Fi system or Bluetooth, I don't remember anymore. And it tells you on your phone what the temperature is. I just kind of chose this brand based on the reviews. I don't really know if this brand is actually like the best of all of them, but I love this concept and I love how useful and helpful it's been. I'm not a big cook. I want to get more into cooking. I'm not a big cook, but I have a hard time knowing when my meat is done because I don't cook a lot. So I'm not familiar with how things are supposed to look or feel. And I'm kind of lazy. Like I don't really like to have to put like the thermometer into the meat every some time. And then like, it's just kind of a hassle. So I love the fact that with this thermometer, I can put the thermometer in and it'll show me just what the temperature is so that I know when the meat is at the temperature that I want it to be at. It's made cooking so much more fun for me. It's also really helped me learn more about meat and how it cooks and how important resting is. And so what's helpful about the thermometer is that it will show you the temperature of the meat over time, but then it'll also tell you like what the predicted amount of time it'll take to reach your desired temperature. And then it'll also tell you when to take that meat out from the heat. And so that way your meat can then rest and rise to the temperature that you want it to be at. So I've just have like learned so much about meat and meat resting from this tool. And I've gotten meat to be at the temperature that I actually want it to be at, because I like my salmon like medium rare, like how they make it at a lot of restaurants. Even though at home I tend to overcook it. So I finally am able to get like medium rare salmon by using this thermometer. So it's made cooking just more enjoyable. My food tastes better. I think it's a fantastic buy for me, and I'm so happy that I have it, and I hope it continues to work really well as it's been doing so far. All right, so the next item on my home and kitchen list is the Misen bench scraper. This is one of the items where I cannot believe I used to live without this item. Like, I did not really realize how useful a bench scraper would be. I think I was inspired to buy a bench scraper through like a cooking class that I took at the chopping block, which is up north in Chicago. And I use it all the time, like every day, multiple times now. Like I use it to like scrape food off from my chopping board into the pan. I use it to clean off my chopping board. I use it to clean the kitchen counter. Like I use it all the time. I had bought a different bench scraper before this one, and it was so like sharp and just like, it just wasn't good. And so I then switched over and returned that one and bought the Misen bench scraper. And this one is so nice. It's not that sharp. It's really solid. It has curved edges, so it's not going to be bumping into anything or hitting anywhere or scratching anything. It looks nice. I just set it right on the counter, and it's so useful. All right, the next item on the best purchase list for home and kitchen is the Benriner mandolin slicer. So I did not really, I've used this a few times, and I also, similar kind of thing, it's so helpful to have to be able to slice items so nicely and neatly. Like I now know how places get such nice slices for items that are hard to slice. And this is a Japanese slicer, one of the classics that chefs say that everyone needs. It's just so easy to use and just makes chopping like and slicing things so easy. I'm expecting to use this a lot more in 2026. The next item is the U-Conserve stainless food containers. I had been kind of struggling to find really good lunch containers. I used to use the Rubbermaid Brilliance like plastic container, and I think I had bought it once or twice, and every time I used it, for some reason, I would get like this black film that would just develop on that rubber top of the lid, which I thought was just so weird and gross, and I didn't know why it was turning black. Like all I put in there was like corn and chickpeas, and it was still turn black, and I didn't understand it. So I really wanted to also find a non-plastic container that I could use for lunch that could hold a good number of things, and really wasn't sure what to buy. And I thought I would give these food containers a chance, and they are great. I love these. I have the circular ones. I think they also have like square ones too. They still look fabulous. They're still clean. There's nothing gross about them, which I think is actually really hard to find in terms of containers. The one downside is that you can't microwave them because they're stainless steel and not glass, but I personally don't tend to bring things that need to be microwaved, or if I do, I can use one of the plates that they have at work in order to microwave them. And so these are really nice. I highly recommend these stainless steel containers. The next item on the list are biodegradable, natural, plant-based kitchen sponges. So on my journey of trying to reduce plastic from my lifestyle, I have also tried to remove plastic sponges too. And so I'm just happy that I now have plant-based sponges, or at least they say they're non-plastic. So I will trust what they say. And I'm just on my journey to being less plastic in my life, to having less plastic in my life. On that same note, actually, for the next item on the list is a water filter. So I decided that I wanted to replace my plastic water filter, the plastic Brita one that I think a lot of people have, and replace it with a glass water filter. And so I was doing some research on which water filter to get, and finally settled on the LifeStraw glass water filter. And overall, I'm really happy with it. I love it a lot. The water tastes fantastic. There is a little bit of plastic in the filter because the vessel that holds the filters has some plastic in it. That's the only thing, but it's made out of glass and looks nice. I didn't try any other water filters. I didn't try any other glass water filters or stainless steel water filters, so I don't really have a comparison, unfortunately. But I think I was really looking for one that could filter out all the things I wanted to filter out while having glass, while not having risk of rusting, while also tasting good too. And so overall, this is a water filter that has met those and that I'm still happy with. And then the last items in home and health, I counted them as 2 items, and that is the Roborock Flexi Wet Dry and the Roborock Q Revo Curve Robot Vacuum. I really like these vacuum cleaners way better than the Dyson vacuum cleaners. I used to have a Dyson vacuum cleaner, just kind of one of those basic dry only, probably one of the cheaper ones, vacuum cleaners, and I don't know. They did work. I liked them at first when I first had them. They just, I don't know. They look kind of clunky. I don't like how they always put so many weird colors in their vacuums. I know it's kind of their branding, but I just think it adds like a look to it that I don't really like. I didn't like that it was only a dry vacuum and then I still have to mop the floor myself. They didn't last very long. They broke easily. My parents now have their own and my old one, and I think they like break all the time. So yeah, overall, I was just not really satisfied with Dyson. I do have a lot of Dyson hair products, which are actually not on this list, and I love their hair dryer actually out of all the appliances, which I bought many years ago. So I think that's why I didn't put it on this list. So I love their hair appliances, but their vacuum appliances, I don't know. There's something that's just not hitting it for me. I learned about Roborock from my cousin who had one, and I saw her using it, and it looked really nice. And so I bought them myself and I really like them and enjoy them. I like having both of them. I like having the wet dry vacuum cleaner, which helps vacuum things as well as mop for me. And then I like the robot vacuum too because it just reaches places where that I can't really reach. I've had no issues with them. They are a nice white aesthetic as well. So they blend in nicely with my place. They have an app that everything links to very nicely. Things are just well made. I have overall just really enjoyed the vacuum cleaners more than the Dyson ones. So I like the Roborock ones. That is all the ones for home and kitchen. I think I could talk about home and kitchen way longer because I love home and kitchen things since they're usually useful things. And next, we're going to go on to beauty and self-care. So for beauty and self-care, one of the first items I have is the A-Bib Airy Sunscreen Bar. They are advertised as a Korean sunscreen bar. I love this bar. It is so smooth, so silky feeling, easy to apply, not greasy. It has a really wide surface application that makes it so easy to apply everywhere. It's a pretty good price. I've repurchased these multiple times and I've also gifted these to people as well. I think they're a great sunscreen bar. Next on the list is a dental water flosser. This is also one of those items where I don't know how I lived without a water flosser. I am shocked that I went so long without a water flosser because it really is so amazing to be able to shoot food particles out between my teeth in places that I cannot see. It really makes me wonder how much food, before I had this, how much food was left in my mouth before I went to bed because I get so much stuff out from the water flosser and it makes my teeth feel so much cleaner and so much better. And I think my dental hygiene is just the game is just high with the water flosser. I love having a water flosser so much that I bought a travel water flosser that's like way cheaper, and it still works really well because I have to floss my teeth with the water flosser even when I'm traveling, because my teeth just do not feel clean unless I'm using it. So I love a water flosser. I did not really realize how much I would love it until I started using it. And I can't believe I was so hesitant to buy one in the first place. Next on the list, this one I was not 100% sure if I wanted to include because I can't really rave about it, but because I use it, I decided that I would include it, and that is red light therapy. I have one of those red light cap therapies and the face mask therapy from iRestore. I do like them. They are supposed to help with reducing inflammation, being anti-aging, promoting blood flow to the skin cells. I do think the red light therapy for the helmet does help decrease my dandruff and helps control it. I'm not sure if I really see that much of a hair growth per se, which is another one of the advertised components of red light therapy, although it's supposed to be for certain types of hair loss. But at least I don't see any issue with the helmet therapy, and I see a potential benefit in having decreased dandruff, which I have really bad dandruff. So because of that, I actually do think I like it enough where I keep using it. The face mask, it's hard for me to say if I really see a benefit of it. Admittedly, I think I'm fortunate enough where I don't have too many skin issues, so I wasn't really expecting to see a huge benefit to it. I use it more as a preventive maintenance type of therapy. Sorry, the screen is getting so fuzzy in and out. I really need to figure out my camera settings. I'm sorry. So I like these. I will continue using these. I think that they could be good purchases and not really invasive. So that's why they're on the list. The last item that I have on the beauty and self-care list is Nizoral Anti-Dandruff Shampoo. As I mentioned, I have really bad dandruff. It's so bad to the point where it will accumulate on my scalp and I'll get like a bald spot on my scalp. And I went to go see a dermatologist and they did a biopsy of it and they said it was just inflammation and they thought it was seborrheic dermatitis. They injected some steroids into it and it helped. And now I have to control my dandruff with medicated applications. So Nizoral Anti-Dandruff Shampoo is one that I started to use because I just needed an anti-dandruff shampoo, and it has ketoconazole in it, and I do think it really helps with controlling my dandruff. I will use a topical steroid as well to help decrease inflammation too, which I think is also helping. I used to use the Head and Shoulders dandruff shampoo when I was younger, and I do think it helped at the time, and then I stopped using it. I don't know why I cannot get myself to use Head and Shoulders. I'm not sure if it's just an association with like my adolescence, or if I feel like I have heard of like people saying there's like certain ingredients in certain shampoos, but I cannot get myself to use Head and Shoulders for some reason. I just can't do it emotionally. But I am really happy to be using the Nizoral Anti-Dandruff Shampoo, and so that is a new thing that I've been using this year that has been helping with my scalp health. I feel like there are other beauty products that I do purchase regularly that I could talk about, but because this video is supposed to focus on just the new things that I've bought in 2025 or discovered in 2025, I'm just focusing on those. But maybe there'll be a different video to talk about like the beauty products that I routinely repurchase and use. So next category is clothing. I am happy to say that there are not that many items in the clothing category, which is great because I am trying to decrease my clothing money spending consumption. The first item under clothing is Modern Citizen sweaters. And I'm actually wearing one right now, this one. And it's actually this specific sweater that I really like and enjoy. So the Modern Citizen sweater, I'll have to put down which specific sweater this is. This is supposed to be kind of like a dupe for the Jenny Kane sweater. And I am really happy with the sweater. It is, I think, just very flattering, Feels really good, nice material, thick. It has these flared sleeves too, which I also think is flattering. These are my favorite sweaters of the season. I have this black one, and then I also have a gray one, and I would say these are the best buy that I've made so far. I have seen that Quince also has a similar copycat Jenny Kane sweater. I almost was gonna buy that one to compare and to see how it is, but I ended up not, and I was just so happy with these from Modern Citizen that I just never got around to trying the Quince ones. The next thing under the clothing category is the Third Love thermoregulating temp sink bra. I personally frequently like to wear shelf bras because I think they're more comfortable. And I had an old shelf bra that I was using for years. It was so bad. It was so used to the point where it just wasn't providing any support anymore. And so I needed to look for another bra. Chicago does have a Third Love store up north in Southport. So I checked out their store, and I was initially interested in looking at their cotton bras actually in my effort to try to stay away from synthetic fibers. But the cotton bras, it just didn't feel, I don't know, it just didn't feel that great. The colors weren't what I was looking for. But I saw that there's this bra, the thermoregulating bra, that looks like a shelf bra, but is way more flattering, more fitting, and almost more, maybe I think even more comfortable than a shelf bra is. I bought 2 bras that day when I went to Third Love, and this is the bra that I am wearing so often. So I really do love this bra a lot. I'm so glad I tried it out and bought it, and the sales associates also really liked it. So thank you to her for that recommendation, and yeah, it's a great bra for me. All right, we're in our last category now, and that is electronics and other. For electronics, I personally really needed better phone chargers. So my first item is going to be the Taurus magnetic phone charger. I love having this phone charger. It looks sleek. It's so easy to use. It fits on an iPhone as long as it has the magnetic backing to it. It fits on the iPhone. There's no extra cords that you need, which is the issue that I had with my last phone charger, is I would always have to have like an extra cord hooked up to it, which made it so much more clunky and difficult to use. And so the Taurus one works so nicely. I have the really, really big one and their smaller one. And so I like to bring the really big one to vacations and use a smaller one just for the day-to-day stuff. The next one is actually very similar. It's also a charger, and it's the Listen car charger. I run out of battery so often, and I use my phone so much even during the workday. So a lot of times when I'm in the car, my phone will just be close to 0%. And so I knew I needed to get a phone charger, and I did not realize how often I would end up using this because I'm almost always out of battery. I'm so thankful to have that one. It looks nice. It works well. Very simple. It is what it is. And then the next item is actually going to be a retractable wall charger plug that I bought from Amazon. I'll have to link the exact one that I got below. I really like the wall charger plug because it has like the retractable cords on it. I get a little overwhelmed when I'm in my room and there are so many cords just everywhere in the room at all the different outlets that I have chargers at. It was just overwhelming to me. So I replaced them with the retractable wall chargers. The wall charger, the cords, they have 2 different cords to part of them. So one of them is a USB-C cord, and the other one is I forgot the name of it, but it's like the one that's for the iPhone, for the old iPhone cords. And so it has 2 different cords. So they fit multiple different electronics, at least the ones that I use. And I bought 2 of them to put into the different places to replace all the other cords that I have. And so now my place feels so much more cordless, which is fantastic. And these wall chargers charge very, very fast as well. So that is a fantastic buy for me. Then the last item on this list is actually the Caseify rope phone strap. I use this item fairly frequently, especially when I'm traveling. It is one of those straps that kind of goes around and hooks to the phone. You include one of these like phone attachments right there, if it'll focus. I guess some people think that like phone straps might be a little bit lame, but when you're traveling, the worst thing that can happen when you're traveling is losing your phone, and or losing your wallet. If looking a little bit not the coolest person with a phone strap means having an enjoyable vacation and not worrying about my phone being lost, I'll take it. So I have a black one. I think it works so well. I mean, it's adjustable. It looks as sleek as can be for a phone strap, and it helps me feel like I know where my phone is and that I'm safe. I also will even use that at work because I am always walking from patient room to patient room. And so I don't want to leave my phone anywhere and forget and then have to search for it. So I will also use it at work as well, since a lot of my pants don't have pockets. Not too complicated of an item. It's just a useful item there. And there you have it. That's my best purchases of 2025. I really do love all the items that I've bought here. I'm hoping 2026 will be more of a low buy year. And that since I have a lot of items that I already need and that I'm already using, that I won't be buying as many items in 2026. We'll see how it goes though. Let me know what you think of some of these items. Do you have any of them? And what are your best purchases of the 2025 year? Thanks so much for joining me today. Have a good day. Bye.